Hello and welcome to a new series of face-to-face interviews. Over the next 13 weeks, I shall introduce you to India's up-and-coming young achievers, and to start off with the young man who's perhaps the best known of the lot. When he made his debut, it was considered a dream start. His first film catapulted him to superstardom. Critics said it wouldn't last, but they were wrong. The next two confirmed his position at the top. So what's the secret of his success? And much more importantly, what is he himself actually like? Later in this special one-hour episode, I shall introduce you to Hrithik Roshan, who will be joining us here in the studio. But first, a profile of the young star and the route he's taken to the top. Welcome back to Face to Face, and now, as you've probably already guessed, I'm joined here in studio by the star of this special one-hour program, Hrithik Roshan. Welcome to the program, Hrithik.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here.
A year ago, Hrithik Roshan was unknown. And then on January the 14th, 2000, your first movie happened and the whole world changed. Has it been fun or has it also been a little unsettling?
Well, I shouldn't be complaining. I have got all that I strive for. So, but yes, of course, it's tough. I didn't expect it to be this way. You know, I got more than I deserved. So too much has happened too soon. But I'm trying to find my groove. I'm trying to settle down and, get used to it. There's just too many things happening at the same time.
It's a bit unnerving.
It is. It is. But that's the fun of it.
Let's go back to the very beginning of the Hrithik Roshan story. I'm told that you were a stubborn child who not only hated his milk, but hated, hated eating altogether.
Oh, yeah. I used to run from food. I hardly ever ate. I was skinny as hell. I used to sometimes throw my milk into the basin. Mom used to come and, oh my God, yeah, those were fun days. But things have changed when I realized I have to eat and grow big and, look good.
You're like Popeye? You like spinach now?
Everything that's healthy. And anything that's not is out of the house. I don't let my parents eat it either.
I'm told you were also quite a headstrong child. You once entered a locked room via an open window because you didn't want anyone to know you were there.
Yeah, I wanted to be by myself and play with my little toys that I had. I had these little men that I used to play with. And I entered my mom's room, which was locked, and my toys were inside. So I had to get there somehow. So I just, found a way. There was a little opening in the window, and I, just jarred it open and went in, and I was in there for like 4 hours just playing with my toys. And then, when I realized that, my mom was home, she was out, and, she came home, she was looking for me, and I wasn't there anywhere. Her room was locked, so she obviously thought I was not inside. My dad came to call the cops. They were like worried as hell. And then I just climb out the window, after I'm done playing with my toys. I climb out, and I'm like, tra-la-la-la-la, hi mom, hi dad, and they're like, mom's like crying, and I see cops in the house, and yeah, that was.
Were they strict parents?
I would say they were strict, but they never, I wasn't stopped from doing anything that I wanted to do. They were all right things,
So you weren't spoiled?
I always got what I wanted, so I don't know if you can call that spoiled. But there was, a certain amount of discipline, always. I had to be back home at a certain time. There were things I could do, I could not do, which were all acceptable. There was nothing out of the, something that would not allow me to have fun or live.
I'm told that as a young child you were also fascinated by dancing.
I was, yeah. I used to, imitate people.
Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson. I used to imitate Dad, put my collars up and, act like him in front of the mirror. Yeah.
And you used to do amazing things on bikes, and the neighbors in Juhu used to stand around and admire you.
That, yes. The BMX days. Yes, I was pretty good at that, actually. Did a lot of stunts, broke a lot of bones.
Which ones?
All over. My ankle, my fingers, my knees, broken a lot of bones.
Now, your first film was, of course, Aapke Deewane, but the real first role was in Bhagwan Dada when you were just 10. Do you remember it?
Yeah, I was 11, I think, yeah. 11 or 10, yeah. I remember that, of course. It's funny. Um, Actually, my grandfather was directing the film, and he was looking for a boy, and they found a boy to play that part. And what happened was that, when the schedule just, came closer, the boy fell sick. He fell sick with jaundice or something, and now they were, just left in the lurch, like, we need a boy quick. And I was sitting there in the hall while my grandfather was thinking. My dad was there, and they were all, contemplating who. And my grandfather turned to me and he says, "Why not? Let's ask him. He'll do it."
Were you excited?
I was a kid. Yes, I was very excited at that time. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was fun. Cameras. My dad does it. I was fascinated by the whole thing.
So did the desire to become an actor get born at that moment?
Actor? No, I was just having fun.
It wasn't serious.
It wasn't serious at all. I never thought I would get into it. Though I always knew I will be an actor one day. I always knew that. But at that time, it was just, I was just fascinated by the whole thing. And, every kid wants to be like his father. So
you were following
and my father was a hero, So I guess it started as a fascination, which grew into a passion. And then once I understood the art, I just totally fell in love with it.
Except for the fact that your father didn't want you to get into the films at all. He wanted you to go to America and study.
Yeah. That was, he would never have stopped me. He would have never stopped me from doing what I wanted to do. But the point was that, he was a father,
He was being protected?
Concerned. He's been in the industry. He's struggled for 20 years. And he's been through hell, my mom and him. That there have been times where there's been no money in the house and, stuff like that. So, of course, he didn't want me to go through the same thing. He wanted me to do something so that I could, if after that I wanted to be an actor, I had something to fall back upon if I did not work.
So how did you convince him? Because you had a scholarship to go to UCLA.
Well, at first, I took his advice. I said, yeah, okay, let me do this. Once I come back, I'll do what I want to do. And then when I was leaving, I gave my exams, my SATs, I got the admissions, everything was done. And then I realized that, what the hell am I doing? I'm running away. Why am I running away? If I have to do something, it has to be 100%. If I do it half-heartedly, like, okay, if I fail, I have something to fall back upon. So my push is never going to be 100%. If I have to plunge, I have to plunge wholeheartedly, completely into it. So I went up to Dad and I said, Dad, I can't go. You did it your way. You struggled for 20 years. I'm ready for it too. I'm your son. Trust me. And he let me do it.
That's when you began serving as his assistant director. What was that like?
I was already doing that at that time. I was assisting him. I've assisted him for 5 years now. And now in the sense that, yeah, I still feel like I'm assisting him because all through working in Kaho Na Pyar Hai, I hardly felt like, the hero. The only difference was that I had makeup and I was in front of the camera. But I was doing everything else that I was doing, while assisting him. So yeah, those years were fun. Now they look like fun. At that time it was hell. Because
he made you live like everyone else, no special treatment.
No special treatment at all. There were times where, I was bathing with brown water and, there was no food and, sleeping in tents with, these little creepy crawlies all over you.
And you didn't complain?
I did, but not to Dad. To the assistants, the other guys, oh, what the hell is this, man? How can you live like this? They're like, well, now you're here.
But you also kept your contact with acting going, didn't you? Because you joined a couple of acting schools at the same time quietly.
I did. But this was during the end of my assisting phase. It was, I think, when Dad was shooting for Koila, that I said, now it's time. I think I have to find out. I want to do it, but can I do it?
So you were thinking in advance and planning?
Yeah, so at first I got a photo session done with Dabu Ratnani, who's a friend from school. And when I got the prints, I I showed the prints to Dad, and I said, well, if you like it, then I need some money to pay him off. And he loved them. He just, he loved the pictures. Though he was not, I knew he would not, just make a film for me. That was not in my mind ever. I just wanted to make a portfolio so I could, go to the people I wanted to work with.
You had other directors in mind, not your father?
My father, not at all. Not at all, because I knew he would not compromise on his work.
So the day when he turned around when he was making Kauna Pyare and said, I want you to be the male lead, were you very surprised?
I think my heart must have skipped a beat or something, because that was totally unexpected. I thought I heard wrong at first. It was completely unexpected. I had to excuse myself from the room, because there were other, the writers were there.
You literally had to get up and leave?
I had to, because I couldn't fathom what was happening, I was very confused. I said, is this happening? What are they thinking of me in this film? It sounds a little weird. No, it's not happening. I need some time off. Just got up and I left. I said, excuse me 1 second. And I went to my room. And he followed me, and he entered the room, and I was nervous as hell, because I knew this was the scariest thing that I could do, working with Dad. He just asked me, are you ready? I was not at that time. I said, yes, I'm ready. Because I knew this is my opportunity. This is,
You were going to grab it with both hands.
Absolutely.
But in fact, you said to him you wanted some time. You wanted to prepare yourself. What did you have in mind?
I requested him. I said, give me 4 months. By the time your scripting is over, I think you will take at least 3 months. Give me 4 months, and I'll be ready.
So what did you do?
Everything. Everything I could think of that could directly, indirectly help me to be a good actor.
More lessons?
I did the weirdest things. I did stuff like meditation. I mean, who'd think that could help you in acting? But I thought, it's just something that would help me focus more. It will help me probably train my mind, to relax, to whatever. I just did everything. I did singing classes. Not that I can sing now, but I took singing classes. I trained my voice in every which way that I could think of.
And I'm told the famous Hrithik Physique was born at that time.
Yeah. I don't know about the famous part, but it's nothing much. I still have to, as you can see. But I knew that physicality was very, very important. And in the film that I was being considered for, there was a double role. As you know, there was Rohit in the first half and Raj in the second half. So I thought it would be nice if I could, even physically show a difference in the two characters. And so I was training myself for about a year, and I wasn't seeing the kind of results that I wanted to see. So as I said, I did everything that I could think of. I did everything. So I didn't want to leave any things unturned. I had to do everything, whether it was to call up Salman, who was Salman Khan, the biggest star then, who did not know me at all. I mean, he's worked with me. I was an assistant, but I just asked myself, who's the best in the business? And that's Salman. I said, I have to try this. I have to try. I have to try and ask him, what did you do?
This movie really meant a lot to you.
Everything. This was my life, and
So
I said, I'd do everything possible to get things right.
So 4 or 5 months later, when the camera started to roll and you had to give your first shot, how nervous were you?
I was very anxious. Yes, I think I was nervous also, because I did not talk at all to anybody. I had a Walkman on, to help me relax. The moment I opened my room door to go onto the sets, till my first shot, I had a Walkman on, and it helped me relax and focus.
The amazing thing is you did it in one take.
In one take, yes. That's what got me going. Believe me, if that first shot had not gone right, things would have been different, probably.
So was it a sort of superstitious moment for you?
Not really, but it's a nice boost when you get the first shot correct in the first take.
And yet the amazing thing is, like, either halfway through the film, you thought the Rohit Raj role was somehow dramatically lacking. You wanted more to it.
Yeah. Foolish me. But yes. On the script level, yes, I did think that it was the girls' film, and I kept complaining to Dad. I said, Papa, I've got nothing to do. All I'm doing is, I'm just laughing or looking good or wearing good clothes and dancing. Both the guys are nice guys. Both the guys are supposed to be good looking. Both the guys fall in love. Both
Give
the
me
guys sing
something
songs.
nasty and evil to do.
I mean, how do I, show the people that I can do things?
And what did he say?
He said, I'm making a movie. You want to act in it too, but don't tell me how to make the movie, because I'm not making the film to launch you. I have an idea, and I think a newcomer would suit my film. And you happen to be my son, who is the actor in the film. That's how it is. So he never let his mind deviate from the fact, though I forced him. He never let his mind deviate from the fact that he was making his next movie, which starred a newcomer who happened to be his son. That was his mindset.
Halfway through the film, there's a moment when Rohit dies. It happens underwater, I believe 40 feet underwater. Was that you, or was that a stuntman?
It was me.
You?
It was me, yes.
40 feet underwater?
45, I think. If I can get, 45 feet underwater.
Was it dangerous?
For 3 hours. Dangerous. Yeah, I almost drowned. I almost drowned. It was, but it was fun because it looked great. So everything that works out for film is worth it.
Most actors must hope that their first film is going to be a success. But could you have ever imagined that KNPH would be such a runaway hit?
No.
Well, when did you suddenly realize that I have probably produced the biggest film for 10 years?
It still hits me sometimes.
So the news still has to sink in.
I guess, because it was so unexpected, I knew that the film was good, and I prayed to God that, the film gets, and Dad gets, and I get exactly what we deserve, and nothing more than that.
There was also a lot of family money riding on it, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The film was about 3 crore over budget, and, the house was mortgaged, and the cars were mortgaged. So it was...
So the flip side was you could ruin the family.
But I didn't know about it. He never... the last time this happened was when he was making his first film, Khud Garz, when he made his home production and directed the film himself. That was the first time he had to mortgage his house and his cars to launch himself. And he had to do it all over again to launch his son. And both times it worked out.
The movies you've made since then, of course, have been dramatically different. The role that you've played of Altaf in Mission Kashmir, or Aman in Fiza, are so completely different. Was that deliberately so?
No, it's not deliberate. It's just that it's simple. I'm an actor. I just want to enjoy my art. It doesn't matter if I'm not playing the hero of the film or... it just has to be interesting.
You want to be challenged and stretched?
Yeah, of course.
So when you say you're only going to do 2 or 3 films here, is that because you care about the roles? You just don't want to play any old part?
Because, I get tired doing one film because there's so much energy put into everything, Everything has got to be right, and if it's not, it just bothers me too much.
So even though it looks very easy because you make it look easy, it's a very exhausting experience being...
Very exhausting, yeah. But I'm getting used to it now. Yeah.
Let's take a break there. I want to come back in part 3 and talk about the person behind the actor, what you might call the real Hrithik Roshan. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. Stick with us. Welcome back. My guest is Hrithik Roshan. Now, 2000 was a sort of roller coaster year for you. KNPH took you right up to the very highest heights, and then at the same time there was the tragic assassination attempt on your father. That must have been horrible.
Yes, of course it was. Totally unexpected. I had not even, come around to start enjoying the success of the film, and this happens. Because I was waiting for the trade papers to say that it was a hit. People all around me were saying it, but I was still waiting for the week's report to come in, the official reports. And before that week ended, and when we got to the Friday of the first week, I was all set in my mind to have a blast. I was going to have this party and enjoy myself because all that I worked hard for, everything, it happened. it worked. So I had, in my mind, planned to, let my hair down, just have a good time on Saturday night. And before that afternoon, I couldn't even get to the afternoon because Dad got shot, I think around that time.
How did you find out?
How did I find out? Well, he gets shot. He had a bullet in his chest and one in his arm, and he still had, the mental coordination to pick up his mobile. He was bleeding, and he called me up because he was concerned whether I was okay. He in his mind, he was wondering whether it's a simultaneous attack on the family. So he called me up, and I was training in the gym, and I picked up the phone, and he says, "Where are you?" And he sounded very, very scared, very. So I said, "I'm in the gym. What happened?" So he says, "Stay there and don't move." I said, "What happened? Why are you sounding like this?" So he says, "Nothing, nothing. I just got shot and I'm going to the cops." And I was like, you what?" So he says, "Yeah, I just got shot. Two guys just come. I don't know how it happened. Two guys just came and they shot at me and I'm going to the cops." It took me a second to realize what's happening. Then I figured that if he's shot, he should not be going to the cops. He should be going to the hospital. So I'm like, why are you going to the cops? Go to the hospital. Who's with you? So, but he was so angry. He didn't want to let those guys get away. So he first drove to the cops. He went to the police station, and those guys took him to the hospital, and he collapsed there. And then, of course, the family was brought to the hospital, and I saw him there.
He was seriously injured, wasn't he?
Yeah, the bullet just grazed his heart, just the wall of the heart, and stopped right next to his sternum, the bone. Just got lodged there. So it
was a very close escape.
Yeah.
Your response at the time was to withdraw from acting for a while, but later you changed your mind. What brought about the change of heart?
Well, at that time, I was obviously shooting. I had to honor my commitments. So I went on with that. And there was this dance rehearsal that I was doing for this song, Bumro, in Mission Kashmir. And I was dancing, and the song was on and we were all rehearsing and all. I'm dancing and I caught my reflection in the mirror. And my face was like, like this. And suddenly I just stopped and I said, "God, my father's in the hospital. What am I doing, I don't need to do this. I'm dancing." I just felt very dirty inside. I don't want to do this. This is not right. Because I knew, I know not directly, but indirectly, it was the movie business. It was the film. It was the success of the film that, maybe somebody got jealous, maybe somebody didn't like the fact that, that we're successful. It was somehow related to the film, Kaho Na Pyar Hai, So my heart just, I didn't want to do films anymore. I said, I don't want to do this. So I actually, in my mind, quit. So I stopped rehearsals. I just walked out. I just said, I don't want to do this. And I came home. And in my mind, I had given up films for about 4 days. But then, the family spoke to me, and I realized that if I quit, they win. And it was easy. It was the easy thing to do, is to quit. But it was harder to go on. It was harder to keep the show going on.
You were determined to fight back in your own way.
And I said, yeah, because somehow they wanted to stop me, and I didn't like that.
Let's talk a little about you personally. They say that you're shy, even introverted. Is that really so?
Oh, I was very, very shy. Still am, but I've gotten over a lot of my inhibitions.
Are you uncomfortable with all the fame and attention and celebrity that today surrounds you?
Not really. I have, as I said, I've worked at it. I know I have to deal with it, so there's no point complaining. There were times when, before I ventured into this career, I could not even, call up, to take an appointment for a haircut.
You're
I used to make
joking.
my sister do it. I used to make my mom do it.
You were self-conscious or just scared?
I don't know. I was a loner. I loved being by myself. Even in school, I was always by myself. I was, just kept to myself. I didn't speak to anybody. I didn't.
Are you still a loner? I know that you're surrounded by fans and crowds, but inside all of them, are you on your own?
Well, let me put it this way. I don't know if I'm a loner, but I need at least an hour to myself in a day. Not at the same time, but I need time off.
Just to be
I need
on
to
your
be
own.
just by myself. I really need to do that.
So
And I do nothing. I do nothing. I just sit and, I let my thoughts wander, but I have to be by myself. It's a need. It's not something that, it's not a luxury, it's a need. I have to be by myself.
So this fame which surrounds you with people all the time, is it at times disconcerting, sometimes even frightening?
It is, but as I said, you just, have to find a way out, and it's not tough. I don't blame anybody. That is going to happen. This is what I've worked hard for, so I just have to, find a balance, keep people happy, please the people I can please, and then I have to, shut the door and say, now I need time to myself.
Many people remember the speech you made at last year's Filmfare Awards. It was a very touching speech. Are you an emotional person?
I guess. I don't know, yeah, I guess.
You don't find it difficult to talk about your emotions? Because on that occasion in public, you touched many chords by the things you were saying. You were reaching out.
At that time and that place, anybody in my position, anybody going through what my family was going through, would have looked as good, would have touched as many chords.
It was the circumstances.
It was the circumstances. It was not me. It was what I was going through, It just happened to be me.
Today, of course, Hrithik Roshan is a phenomenon. Do you ever ask yourself the question, how did this all just happen? How do you explain the popularity to yourself?
I don't waste time in doing that. Really, I take life one shot at a time, because if I start analyzing all this, I just waste the time, because there's no answer. There's no answer, and there's no truth besides being, no answer for it. There's also a question: is this the truth? How do you know this is the truth?
Does it
I
worry
don't.
you that it might not be the truth?
No, that doesn't worry me.
That it might not last? That it could change?
It doesn't worry me because I don't believe it. I know how good I am. I know how bad I am. I know what my worth is. I know I have got more than I deserve. I know people are going to want some of what they've given me back, and I'm all set for that. That's okay.
So you keep your feet firmly on the ground.
I try to, yes.
And you try very hard to make sure that you don't get carried away with all the compliments that you keep hearing.
I have people around me to make sure of that.
It's often said that Hrithik Roshan doesn't like the way he looks. In magazine interviews, you're always complaining about features that you think you haven't got right. Is that just modesty, or do you really mean it?
I don't know, it's going to be very weird to talk about that now, because, yeah, it's very irritating. Takes a lot of effort to look good. Yeah. What?
Is that one of the most difficult things about being a star, that people expect you to look good always? That you can't just walk out
No,
in
because
public the way
looks are not
you
important. I mean, I'm not worried about looks where acting is concerned, where my career is concerned. I'm not at all. The only thing that irritates me are photo sessions and stuff, where there's no emotions to go by. You just have to look good. Or, a glamour shot in a film where you do nothing but, somebody talks about the hero and there's this shot of the hero turning into camera or walking into the frame or something. I hate those. That really makes me nervous, because there's nothing you can do. There are no emotions, there are no dialogues, there's nothing to go by. You just have to look good. And that really...
Just looking good is very difficult.
It's the toughest thing in the world. Yeah.
Now, I'm told that there is one thing that you do, and you mentioned it briefly in part one. You sing.
Sing. Did I say it?
You did indeed. You said
No,
I
I said I took singing classes.
You, wait.
I didn't say I sing. I don't sing. I Do not sing. Don't make me sing.
Go on. Sing something for me. Someone
Yeah.
who's taken singing classes must sing.
Oh, God. You should have been there in the singing classes to hear me sing. I was... Sing what? What do I sing? I can't sing. I'm an actor, not a singer. Kaho na pyar hai, kaho na pyar hai. Wow. Is that good enough?
That's perfect.
Okay.
The papers say that Hrithik Roshan is going to get married very soon. Is that true?
Yeah, I can afford it now.
Is that what you're waiting for? You didn't want to get married until you were rich.
Not rich. I just had to be set in my career. I just knew where I was going. You know, I just had to know where I was going before I take the responsibility of another life.
So when are you going to get married?
Soon.
How soon is soon?
I don't know. I have like 3 days off in the coming week.
In December.
In December. And I have 3 days off in Jan. Now it depends which producer gives me a little more off, either in December or in Jan. So it all really depends on my dates, you know, so that I can get a little time off after my marriage to probably spend some time away from here.
But it's possible that you could be married before the end of the year.
It's possible, yeah.
And is it definite that you'll be married before the end of January?
Absolutely.
So the inner limit is end of this year, and the outer limit is end of January.
15th of Jan is the limit, yeah.
15th of Jan is the limit. Why the 15th of Jan?
Because my commitment begins then for my my film. I think it's with Mr. Ghai for Yaad Mein.
And the lucky girl is Suzanne Khan. Yeah. Tell me
I
about
don't know if
Suzanne.
she's lucky, yes. Yes,
Tell me about Suzanne. What is she like?
well, she's a part of my life that I'd like to keep to myself.
Can I ask you where and how you met her?
Well, we always knew of each other, lived in the same locality, Juhu, and we had a mutual friend. And
Childhood sweethearts, as they say?
no, not really, no, not at all actually. I just knew of her, and the first time I spoke to her was I think when I was 21. When I actually saw her at a traffic light, my car pulled up beside her car, and I saw her, and then life just went on, and I mentioned it to a friend, and the friend told me that, oh, she mentioned the same thing to me.
Sounds
So I
like a
said,
hona pyar hai.
You know her? So he goes, yeah, and she was asking me about you. That's how it started.
It sounds a bit like hona pyar hai.
Doesn't it? Yeah, I freaked when Dad conceived the first meeting of Sonia and Rohit. I just completely freaked. I said, has somebody told him? What's happening, I was almost afraid that, because he didn't know at that time, that I was seeing Suzanne, because it had just been 3 weeks. It was weird.
An actor who's going to live his film roles, huh?
I don't want to act out my entire life there.
Hrithik,
One little incident enough.
congratulations, good luck with the marriage, and can I add also, happy birthday for the 10th of Jan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for a lovely interview.
It's a pleasure. Thanks.